Coming up on Regarding Men, cancel culture special.
Oh, Golden, that was one hell of a timing. Hi, everybody. Paulie Look here with Regarded Men. And where we hold men, I regard most of the time. Uh, and where red pill isolation comes to die. Uh, Hi, everybody. We're going to be talking about cancel culture today, which is a real thing. People are losing careers, they're losing jobs, they're getting booted out of education, they're getting squashed on social media, they're having their platforms terminated, their payment processing terminated. There is a frenzy going on in the Western world right now to silence people that are anything right of pretty much Mao, it seems like. Uh, and it has come home to us recently. Some of you already know that several months ago that I was banned from PayPal. No more PayPal donations for me, no more PayPal purchasing or payment processing for me that extended to Regarding Men. And just recently, well, no, let's back up a little bit more. Before that, we had some videos for Regarding Men on Vimeo. And they got to look at a couple of the titles and canceled the whole account, did not issue a refund. They took the money and canceled the account, just like thieves do. And then just recently, we were canceled from Stripe, which is a payment processing platform that also happened to serve to support the Regarding Men effort. All of our subscriptions ran through Stripe, and Stripe notified us that we were now a high risk business, whatever that means. They referred me to their terms of service. We did not fit the model of any of their high risk businesses. And when I asked them for more details, they said, well, they pulled, just a standard fast one and said, well, we really can't tell you any specifics. You're just high risk and we're not going to do business with you. So we have had to scramble here a little bit, and we do what I think red pill men and women do. We find an alternative. We're not going to be silenced by this. We're not going to stop providing services to red pill men across the globe. We've had well over 200 men join Regarding Men, and we are going to continue on without a hitch using the Subscribe Star platform. But I think this opens up a wider discussion of what's happening in the world today that I think Tom was saying in our short discussion before we started recording this, that we're all dissidents now. We are dissidents living in a society that wants to silence us. And so, what do we do about that? And so, I'll throw this open to the floor to the both you and Tom and Janice, and let's see what we've got to say about this particular subject.
Yeah, the whole dissident thing is fascinating because I've never thought of myself as a dissident before. I've thought of myself as part of the majority. But I think that's shifted now. We have COVID and cancel culture is kind of taken over. And so the voice for liberty and freedom has kind of dwindled as people are more and more afraid of either getting canceled or of getting COVID. And it's the fear, Paul, that I think is the engine, the gasoline that runs things. I mean, the media and the government has just created this fear in people that's so intense. But it's left many people passively supporting this fear culture, you know, and that's kind of one ring. And then outside of that ring, there's people who are passively not supporting it, but not saying anything. And outside of that ring, there are people who are actively dissidents to the whole situation. We'll put a link to the article in the below that is just a fantastic article on how to be a dissident in today's world. And it's absolutely fascinating what the guy goes through. And The guy's brilliant. But so we are dissidents. And what do we do with being a dissident? And he talks about how do you do that and stay safe? Because you don't want to self-sacrifice. You don't want to throw yourself away because you are a valuable dissident as you are. So he gives tips about what to do and what not to do. It's a pretty interesting article.
Yeah, that sounds really useful, actually, because I mean, what I feel more and more is just, I feel this sense of it's like everything has become surreal.
Yeah, really.
It's certainly, I mean, it's picked up incredibly in the last year since COVID struck,
Right.
and the, anti-Trump sentiment and all the moves to censor information, to censor news stories leading up to the election. And of course, everything around the election, the utter denial that anything had occurred out of the ordinary, even though every citizen knew that that had been an election like no other. Yet the news reports constantly beating the drum that, there was, no, all Trump's claims were groundless about election interference, et cetera, and fraud. It's. But even before that, friends or people that I knew who had various shows on YouTube or Facebook pages or whatever, who were being picked off one after the other, and it started sort of gradually, and we all got used to it. And people would say ruefully, "Well, I've been for a week in Facebook jail, or I was banned on Twitter for a month, and now I'm finally back on, or I lost my account altogether, and now I'm starting up another one." All of that, and just it came to be normal that perfectly good people, not contravening any laws in their own country, not even saying anything, particularly outrageous, would have their voices silenced. And that has just come to be now something that many people accept, either grudgingly on our side or happily and enthusiastically on the other side, those who believe that this is all very necessary and for the good of everybody. And there's something so, I don't know, like shameful about it. I think we've talked about this before, about propaganda and how the purpose of forcing people to say things, part of the purpose anyway of propaganda, to force people to say things, is to make them feel ashamed, to diminish their humanity, to corrode their souls. And this is the same kind of thing that many, many good people who have radio shows or whatever it happens to be have to think twice about every single thing they say, and every guest they invite on their show, or every news item that they post and comment on, or whatever it happens to be. It all has to be thought of in terms of what could get me canceled. And there is something so it's outraging, and it's also demeaning and belittling. You feel small to have to worry about that kind of thing. I hate it. It makes me, I'm angry now nearly every day. I'm angry when I look outside and I see people wearing masks in their cars. I'm angry when, I was just telling you guys, we got a note on our door the other day from some condo Nazi who was upset that he saw David sitting outside without a mask on, and felt it his right to lecture him anonymously, of course, but in no uncertain terms, about his duty to humanity, to put a covering over his face as if that is going to save the world. And I feel so frustrated all of the time.
Yeah, it's a crazy place we're living in. It's absolutely crazy,
And people also, they got to worry about what they said 20 years ago.
God, too.
It's so true.
And this is what we're dealing with. But I think it's also important to recognize that there's another part of this phenomena that we contribute to. People continue. One of the things, Janice just quit Twitter recently. Something I totally respect, because one of the things that I am a little frustrated with is hearing people complain about censorship on platforms that censor them. Matter of fact, I put up a little post on my Gab page the other day saying we got a new word. It's called a face tard. And that is reserved for people who are on these big platforms,
Yes.
relying on them, not just to, and believe me, I get like this is exploiting those platforms, and there is some use for them if you can use them to exploit them, like to raise awareness about regarding men or something like that. I think that's perfectly valuable. But if you're on those platforms every day trying to make your opinion heard and dodging the censors and wondering when they're going to take you off, maybe, just maybe, you ought to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And until we quit patronizing these things, that's why
Yes.
I've moved. I just got through moving my what I consider to be pretty much my best video talks, 112 of them, to GabTV. There'll be a link below if you want to visit that. I've also, after getting many, many requests over the past year and a half, 2 years, I'm returning to writing my monologues and publishing them. But guess where they're not going to be? Here on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Ever. It's not going to happen. I will use YouTube to say, hey, I've got a new video talk on Gab. You can come over and watch it. But I'm sorry, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. I'm just not going to keep providing content to people that are too lazy or too brainwashed to get off the platforms that are doing all the censoring.
Yeah.
So I will use YouTube. I will use Facebook. I'll even use Twitter in order to exploit that and get the message out. But we must start building platforms and patronizing platforms that are supportive of free speech, or we're the problem. And
Yes.
there's no way around that. We
Yes.
have to accept responsibility for that, I believe. And I'm starting by refusing to put any more of my new video monologues on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter. They will go directly to Gab and to, I'm also on MEWE. You'll get links to that below if you want to join me there. And I'd sure love to see you.
What's your Gab address, Paul?
At Elam, ELAM.
All right. All right.
You're not going to miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm at TR Golden. So come on and see us.
And that's the
Yeah.
same address, I believe, for my TV channel on Gab too.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I
But
think
enough
that's
of that. Go ahead, Janet.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think that's a really good point about for how many years we generally, those of us who support free speech and who are dissident against the progressivist leftist culture of North America, that, for so many years we have complained. And we've predicted, they're coming for us. They're coming for us. And, I've certainly engaged in these conversations with lots of my friends. We sort of lament, oh, so-and-so got erased. So-and-so is, was kicked off Twitter. So-and-so no longer can post on YouTube. But yet, we would continue to do it as if it in some way wasn't going to happen or I don't know. It's like you're forced, not entirely forced, but you feel forced to inhabit this ridiculous contradiction in which you excoriate the censoring propensity of these big tech platforms, but continue to use them. Yes. And therefore to support them. And, again, I don't really mean to criticize anybody else because I did it for a long time. But yeah, I just finally decided after they canceled Donald Trump, off Twitter, I'm not staying on there. I don't care whether they would ever have canceled me anyway. I don't want to support a platform that hates me, hates everything I value, hates all the people that I'm most interested in hearing from. I don't want to support them in any way. And I really miss it. Like, it had taken me years to build up a significant following. I enjoyed hearing people's comments. I met people that I felt like I almost knew them, even though I'd never met them in the flesh. They would comment on my posts regularly. I'd look at their posts. It was wonderful in a way. And I still kind of miss it, but there's something really demeaning to stay on platforms that obviously hate you and to be constantly looking over your shoulder and knowing that you're actually, you're supporting the very beast that you're criticizing.
Yeah.
I feel the same way, Janice. I mean, I understand the frustration. I've worked a long time to top 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And I checked. I just started my GabTV channel yesterday, and I think I've got 10 subscribers there. So it is, starting with very, very hard ground, digging a new post hole for myself, and it's going to be a slow trek. But again, in the end, it's like I'm tired of saying, "Thank you, ma'am. Can I have another?" That's exactly what it feels like here.
Yes, it does.
And I'm done with it. Again, I will use these platforms to exploit them, to spread the word of the services that we provide and other things like that. But guys, if you don't see my likes or comments in response to things, it's because I'm not interacting here for anything else. I'm going to be here to push the word about something else. I want to be there to exploit YouTube until YouTube kicks me off, which they eventually will. And then I'm just going to be on the other platforms, but no way am I supporting this bullshit anymore. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciated watching Paul and what he does with exploiting the platform to push his other accounts, and I've started doing the same thing, and it feels good. It feels good. It feels like a proper thing to do. And I don't post on Facebook. I rarely post on Twitter, except to say you can find me on Gab at and that works. That works. I mean, people then come and find you. So come and find us.
So you guys that have been hounding me for 2 years now to get back to writing monologues, I'm doing it.
Yay.
Matter of fact, I've started one on Briffault's Law, and that'll be up sometime in the next 2 or 3 days on my Gab account, but not on here.
What's it going to be on, Paul?
Briffault's Law.
What is that?
You're not familiar with Briffault's Law?
No.
Briffault's Law is the notion. You can Google it. It is and there was a guy named Briffault who established the idea that in relationships where women do not perceive a benefit from the connection to the man, there will be no relationship.
Interesting.
That's it in a small nutshell. It's Briffault. For those of you not familiar with it, you can Google it, and it's something discussed in the manosphere for a long time. And I have a little bit different take on that, as you might imagine.
And when was he alive? Is this recent or?
I think it was sometime in the past 100 years, but not exactly recently.
Huh.
Well,
I'm looking forward to that video, man. Crank it out.
Me too. Yeah.
Crank
I
it
missed
out.
your monologues a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, and I miss doing them. You do, and I think part of the point that I got so frustrated with, and what facilitated my decision to stop writing them for a while, is that I got tired of sitting down to a keyboard and then having in the back of my mind, are they going to kick me off for this? Are they going to kick me off for that?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Now I feel like I can get back to writing and say whatever the fuck I want to say
We like
in the way I want to say it, and not have the worries of the censors on my mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I remember Steve telling me about that, for the last 2 years, probably maybe 3 years even, on Studio Brule on YouTube, nearly every video would be demonetized either within the first minute of it going up or sometimes within a few hours. And like the amount of hours that Steve put in communicating with YouTube, challenging their decisions, asking for manual reviews, getting back their responses, which usually weren't at all helpful. Sometimes then having to re-upload the video to make the change that they demanded or whatever. Like it was so, and none of the stuff was, we didn't use obscenities. There was nothing in it that could legitimately be said to contravene their community guidelines. It was just they didn't like the content. They had flagged Studio Brule as a dissident site, and that was it. Criticizing feminism, which was all we ever did. That was the whole purpose of the channel. That was enough to get everything demonetized, and the bitterness of it because it was held out originally as this wonderful new opportunity for people to be able to build businesses and and to participate in a flourishing public square with free exchange of ideas. And it was that for a while, and it was a wonderful thing. And now it's something totally other, and it's just really disappointing.
Yes. And they're trying to change lots of things to be something other, including regarding men. And we're not going to let them do that. And it's amazing that they would be unhappy with a site that's simply there to help men.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you find that somewhat odd that they've gone...
No, not anymore.
Yeah, they've gone down far enough down the ladder that just a site that's there to be helpful to men is something that's worth canceling. It's like...
I think it establishes that modern feminism can be defined by the sneaking, disturbing sensation that there might be some men getting help somewhere.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And I wish that was an exaggeration, but
It's
don't
not.
think that it is.
And this
I
is
think
proof
that
of it.
If they suspect that men are communicating freely with each other and speaking truth about their lived experience as men, they want to shut that down. And of course, they have tried. They've kicked our payment processing out from underneath. And it's one of the things I love about Regarding Men. I mean, the smallest membership gives you the benefits of the whole package, which is $5 a month, and we can deliver basically 24-hour, 7-day-a-week social support to men online in a way that's never been done before. And of course, these guys want to shut it down. And
I heard
response, fuck that and fuck them.
Really? I heard a story yesterday in one of the groups. The guy said that he had this crap happen to him. It was like a trauma that happened to him. It was 4 o'clock in the morning where he was. And he came back and he checked the shed, which is the 24-hour place that's open. And there were 2 or 3 guys there, and they really helped. He said he didn't know what he would do without the shed. Just a beautiful thing that's happening. It's absolutely amazing thing that's happening. Men helping other men, and they want to shut it down.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I hate to articulate what could be called conspiracy theories about, a grand plan. And I've resisted those for years. Right. And people would often say, people would comment on my videos and saying, yeah, but who's really behind this? And, and what's the larger issue here? Why is it that there are these powerful forces in our society that want to divide men and women and that want to weaken men in these particular ways and want to destroy men? And in fact, in this case now, actually cut men off from one another, to alienate men from their society, alienate men from women, and isolate men from one another. And, I resisted that for ages, but now I have to think it's got, this is at some level and in some way, and I still don't quite understand it. This is part of a plan to weaken men.
Yes. And if you want to subvert that plan, come join us at Regarding Men. And you can do that by going to the Subscribe Star site that we've set up. That's going to be our base now for collecting fees. And there'll be a link below, subscribestar.com/regarding-men. And there it'll be, let me show you a picture of what it's going to look like. There it is. That's what it looks like when you get there. And just pick one of the membership levels there. And in you come, and after you finish, it'll look like this, because what we're going to do is put up the schedules page on the Subscribe Star site, so you'll always have a way to get to all of the groups. So come on and join us.
And of course, anybody...
Go ahead.
All of you dissidents.
I was just going to say that if anybody...
You go.
We need a traffic cop.
I was just going to say that if anybody can't afford, if they can't commit the monthly fee, there's we don't want anybody who wants to join to stay away for monetary reasons. So just contact us, and we'll get you set up.
If you don't have enough for $5 a month, let us know. We're not going to turn anybody away because of money.
Absolutely right. Nobody gets left out. on this deal,
Yep.
and I'm very proud of that.
Me
I did
too.
want to follow up for a moment on something Janice was saying. Is that you look at, is there a grand plan behind this? I think just like with everything else in life, you follow the money. Who profits from all this? Who profits from there being twice as many taxpayers because women are working? Who profits if we're all just obedient consumer units? The corporations. And why? Who do we see doing all the censorship? Corporations. Who do we see pushing this divisive narrative between men and women? The corporations. It's not. We can point the finger at feminists and we're accurate. They're the mouthpieces for this stuff. But who's making the money off of this?
And
And
who's
there's a lot of
funding?
money being made.
Who's
Yes,
funding the
Ford
feminists?
Foundation, of course, George Soros, all the typical players. But the benefactors of all this are corporate America. They're the ones raking in, and the corporation, the sort of corporatocracy of our government that it's
Yeah.
become.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're collecting all the tax revenue, and they're benefiting from all the corporate taxes. And they've got women who, at one point, were okay. They felt limited to roles as housewives and mothers. And rather than just expand the meaning of the roles in their lives, they have been sold a bill of goods that they need to hate men and divide from men and come in and accept a spot in a corporate cubicle, working their way to middle management with bags under their eyes and kids at home screaming for their attention. And
Really?
then say, you've come a long way, baby. Who benefits from this? Who profits from this? And I think you can look at the people trying to silence us and figure that out very, very quickly.
Where does the money come from? And it's not just corporate. I mean, it's Ford Foundation. I used to always scratch my head. Why did the Ford Foundation give millions of dollars to feminism when it first started? And it's not just Ford. It's Rockefeller. It's Ford. It's all of these big foundations. And then I realized, holy
So
crap.
women would buy cars.
That was a part of it. That was a part of it, I'm sure. But I think there's more reasons than that. But, it's just, ay. We're living in a crazy
Well,
place
whether
now.
it's ideology or money, it's purely evil
It
on
is.
its face.
It is that.
And I am happy to play any role that I possibly can in resisting this garbage.
Yes. Yes, I agree too. And we will. And if we get axed from YouTube, check out GabTV, Paul's channel. Check out Regarding Men, the website, or Rumble. We'll have videos up on Rumble also, and BitChute.
And very soon it looks like we're going to have a TV channel on Gab as well.
Yes.
So hang in there for us. We're going to continue this deal and look forward to seeing some new people on Gab. Like I said, I should have my first monologue out in 2 to 3 days, and I'm looking forward to getting back to that grind. And I also want to just express a note of appreciation to the people at Subscribestar. They went through hell to build that platform, and they've got it up and solidly running. I've been on there with a couple of accounts for years now. They take care of business very professionally, and they got to our case right quick and got our page up right away. They're doing a good thing over there.
Yep.
Good.
Getting
Good to
an
hear.
alternative.
Good.
And with that, I do
Well.
believe that men
Are
Good. How about that? How about
we'll
that?
see you guys next time.
All right. Y'all
Take
take care.
care.
We'll see you then.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.